question why there are certain things that we know we need to do or want to do or are part of our vision, part of our goals, and yet we don't get to do them. Well, I've been exploring this topic for a number of years, and the more I get into it and I get to know myself and my weaknesses and places where I haven't explored before, where I haven't been to, the more I get revelations. So I want to share with you some examples. The fear of action is based on three beliefs and one conditioning. And these three beliefs, obviously, I have them, but I'm open now and aware that if I have these beliefs, my next step is to look at them, to explore them, to learn where they come from, to validate them. And maybe now that I know I have the power to change my perception and my perspective, just by changing my thoughts and the way I look at it or my stories, then I am open to make those changes. So belief number one is that mistakes and failures are bad. And one of these beliefs arises mainly from our childhood or when we were going to school, and maybe one of the teachers really punished us because we made a mistake, because we did something wrong. So if we were punished for doing something wrong, as little as perhaps spelling something without our intention and being harshly judged, that little event could have marked a behavior in our lives. And I'm trying to think of myself and what happened. I know that while I was going through school, I came from a very rigid type of society where, we were given a lot of instructions, and if I didn't listen to the instruction properly, obviously I made mistakes. So chances are I probably heard this punishment, or, why did you do that? Or, that was wrong. And that gets ingrained in our subconscious. So now I have the opportunity to look at it. And I've looked at it before. I still question it until that belief and those thoughts of fear for making mistakes become either eradicated, or at least I look at them and I said, well, they're not real, they're only thoughts. Fear number two is if I make a mistake or fail, I'll be rejected. And again, this is from a time in our childhood mainly, where maybe we did something that didn't fulfill the expectations of a person that we admired. Maybe didn't fulfill the expectations of our parents, a teacher, or someone that we looked up to. And if we didn't feel those expectations, then the feeling was of rejection. And to overcome that, again, is to look into it and see whether the person that looked at us in a certain way, or that he didn't approve of what happened, what we did, was just a person that had a certain type of belief. It wasn't about us, because everything someone does to us, it's not about us, it's about them. But of course, it takes an adult to rationalize that and to be able to look at it from that perspective. But we can do it. And number three is what makes me good enough or important enough is having people think well of me. This is a big one, because with this belief, we don't take risks in case that we fail and do something wrong. And if we don't have people thinking well of us because maybe we were embarrassed, or we did something where we were judged or criticized, then the easiest response to taking risks or to taking action with a project or with something that is exciting, with a vision that doesn't exist, where we know that there's going to be risks, is to be safe, is to stay in our comfort zone. Because staying in our comfort zone, well, nothing is going to happen. Nobody's going to criticize us. Nobody's going to judge us. Nobody's going to say this is wrong. Nobody's going to give us feedback. Nobody's going to think of us as ridiculous because we come up with a very crazy idea sometimes, and so on. So what happens is, with these three beliefs, we human beings, most of us anyways, if we have them, we prefer to not take action because it's safer. Now, the conditioning that is related to these three beliefs is the fear associated with failure. So if we think that, or if I think that I might fail, then maybe I see failure as painful. And I don't like pain. Or how many of you like pain? Maybe the perception that the new perception to look at is that pain, of course, and I said this before, is not the same as suffering, because maybe pain is just going into something different, is having a different experience, is that step that take us to explore and go into unknown fields of new results. So let me just resume again. There are three beliefs that stop us from taking action, which causes the failure of action, or the failure of rejection, which is the same, fear of failure, fear of being rejected, fear of being criticized, and the conditioning that comes with it, which is, if I fail, I might fail, and I'm very fearful about that. Removing those, and I'm not sure, I'm more and more I'm thinking it's not so much to remove them, because they could be there, but at least to becoming aware where they come from, what they do to us, and how to validate them when they show up, and then say, okay, but this is a thought of something that happened to me when I was little. Why am I still carrying it? No, I now have the ability to do something completely different, to go into a different possibility, because I have something bigger to strive for, which is my vision, my desire, my dream, my project, my results.